As Donald Trump continues to unveil names of key members in his second administration, the president-elect is also due to meet incumbent President Joe Biden in a short while from now. Trump has landed in Washington, D.C. ahead of his meeting with the White House. Biden had extended an invite to his political rival. The move is part of tradition, of course, with respect to transfer of power. It is interesting to note here that Donald Trump had not extended the same courtesy to Joe Biden back in 2020, when the Democrat defeated his Republican rival in office. Meanwhile, a transition of power is already underway in the U.S. Congress. Both chambers, the Senate as well as the House of Representatives, held their first session days after U.S. voters handed a clear and decisive mandate to Donald Trump and his Republican Party. The Republican Party also gained majority in the Senate. As for the lower chamber, it is slowly turning red as Republicans inch closer to the majority mark. At the moment, Republicans are just 2 seats short of majority, with the result on 12 seats yet to be called. Now, correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us live on this broadcast from New York. Susan, good to see you. Well, as always, Donald Trump is going to visit his future home. What are you hearing?
Yeah. How surreal is that? As the president-elect's plane touches down in Washington, D.C., he will be speaking to a number of lawmakers as well, but all eyes will be on that meeting between President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump. It's also interesting to note that Melania Trump rejected an invitation by Joe Biden for a tour of the White House and a welcoming tour. She cited the 2022 search and seizure by the FBI of their home in Mar-a-Lago, including her son Barron's room. She felt it was very personal, despite the fact that the Bidens said they had no information that that was happening. Still, she harbors those resentments and said that she does not want to meet with the current First Lady. It'll be interesting to see what President Trump and President Biden talk about. We'll hear some stuff. We've heard it's cordial. But what will be very interesting is this stuff that we won't hear. And that's what President Biden will tell Donald Trump in terms of security issues and what he needs to be mindful of coming into the new administration of his White House, because, you know, there are security issues and briefings perhaps that the president-elect hasn't had yet. And this is when usually the sitting president says what his biggest challenges will be. If you remember, President Obama told President Trump back then that North Korea would be his biggest challenge back in 2016. So we'll be watching.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be watching. Also, what's happening in the Congress. We know that the Republican Party has gained control of the Senate and it's inching closer towards the majority mark in the House. What happens here on?
Yeah, it's projected to be a very slim majority in the House. Nonetheless, Speaker Johnson has said that he's going to be working with whatever margins he has. You know, their first challenge ultimately in the House is going to be that deadline in December of spending and to prevent a government shutdown. And then, you know, you have these different aspects of the Republican Party themselves as well. While they do pose a unified stance and Donald Trump is expected to keep everyone in line, the Republican Party in the House notably don't agree, especially on everything and every aspect of what's happening with, you know, the Trump policy. So that unity is going to be a challenge as well. And then, of course, they have to decide whether or not, you may remember, they agreed to just one vote to oust the Speaker of the House. They did that with Kevin McCarthy, and they'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they're going to extend that as well. You know, the Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greenes of Congress. So, you know, these are the issues that'll be interesting to watch. Nonetheless, it seems like the incoming administration has a trifecta, and we'll see how they're going to govern and take advantage of this.
Absolutely. So much has happened, but so much to come. Susan, thank you so much for all those updates from New York.
Yeah.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.